hoping that this video works today. It is November the 5th. It is Monday. We started out our class period by taking a 5-minute practice quiz test on this. They should have their version of the practice test. Tomorrow is the actual test. It is 50 points. It's in the test category, which is the 60% category. 2 minutes. Quizlets go out at about 3:05 with both things on it. Okay. Today, we are actually doing properties. Now, we just had started it when I realized I needed to hit record. So, a property is, it is a statements that, are true for every number. Thank you. It's okay. At least it's laughing. Okay, they're true for every number. That means that it doesn't matter if it's 2 or it's 200, the number you're using, it's going to end up true. It works. Okay. Now, the biggest hint I can give you the whole day is right here. And I promise, I learned it this myself. Watch. Right here. Addition and multiplication. I need you to realize that this only works with addition and multiplication. You will not see subtraction and division. Okay? We worked last week on expressions. So if you look over here at the whiteboard, expressions were things like this. The only way we could solve it if it had like an x was for me to tell you that x equaled 7. Okay? The key is we're now going to start equations. Notice I underlined EQUA because equations mean they're going to have equal signs. Each side is going to be equal. Eventually we'll even go into finding out what x is or y is on various problems. Okay? Now, yes?
Are you allowed to square this year? Like square numbers?
Like 2 squared, 3 squared? Didn't we already do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Starting out, though, with these properties, there are 3 properties for today. The first one is commutative. Commutative property. I want you to think about commuting. If we commute back and forth to school, some of us commute in a bus, some of us commute in a car, we are going back and forth. To be honest, we're not changing, we're just driving back and forth. Notice on commutative property. Okay, it is the property that allows the numbers to move. So if you look over here, 7 and 9 rotate with 9 and 7. Do they actually stay equal? Yes, because this is 16 and that is 16. So it's actually staying equal even though they've been kind of flipped, as I call it. Okay? Look at this one. This is why the multiply works. 4 times 6 is 24. Well, if I flip it, 6 times 4 is 24. They both work. Listen, even if we do variables like A's and B's, it still works. It doesn't matter what numbers it is as long as it's just flipped. Key is add and multiply. Everybody get on that one?
Yes.
Okay. The second one is associative. I think of associative property as we usually say that we either associate with people or if you're in a business you might say my associates. It's kind of like the people you work with.
Oh, yeah.
I might associate with you guys, meaning students. I might associate with all the teachers. I go home and associate with my family. I don't really change. I just have different groups I'm with. And I want you to think about it because this is a key word in here. Associative properties, they have grouping symbols. They rotate their groups. Notice grouping symbols, parentheses right here. All associative property has grouping symbols. Parentheses. They just move. The answer doesn't change, though. To be honest, if you're looking over here, 9 plus 4.
13.
13 plus 3. 16. Look at this side. If we did this first, 9 plus 3 is 12 plus 4 is 16. It is 16 on both sides. It didn't matter how they did the parentheses. They just rotated them. Multiply works the same way. Key is only add and multiply. Good so far? Okay. The last one is goofy to me. It's called the identity property. Identity, it's like, if I think of the word identity, I think of, like, what do I stand for? My identity. Look at the way this is worded. It says, when adding or multiplying, the original number does not change. The original number. So it's kind of like, it doesn't matter if I walk in here today or walk in here tomorrow, or I go to the soccer field or I go to the ballpark. My identity stays the same. So I want you to look over here. All the identity properties, whatever is on this side, stays over there. Because 13 plus nothing is 13. A plus nothing is A. 7 times 1 is 7. A times 1 is A. Whatever it is, it could be 1,000 times 1. It's still 1,000. Okay, now I will say, starting out, you have to look at this chart. I have taught this 6 times today, and I am still looking back at the chart and making sure I'm giving the right answers. Then, as the week goes on, it'll get a little better. Okay? So, here we go. The first thing they want you to do, the first set of directions, is identify the property. Now, I need you to get very specific on this part. When you are looking at these things, this is one long problem. Number one, I need you to check and make sure all the numbers are the same. They didn't switch something from like a 35 to a 34. They didn't switch it from add to divide or something like that. So I kind of go through, I check my numbers, I check my symbols. So the only thing that's different from here to here is what?
Parentheses.
The parentheses. Like they just moved the parentheses from here to back here, right? Okay, so which property up here moves parentheses? Associative. So you start out by writing associative property. Yes, you have to write out the entire thing. Nope. Associative property. Now, is this of addition or multiplication?
Of addition.
Of addition. So, we have to write associative property of addition. Yes, you have to write it out each time. No, you cannot shorten it. The parentheses is what gives away the associative property. Just how they moved right there. Good? Yeah, see there's one over there. I have no clue. Or you can use the electric one. Doesn't matter. Number 2, 0 plus 124 equaling 124. So are they equal on each side?
Yes.
Yes. What property? Identity. Now, identity property of addition. Listen, identity because it's like the plus 0. Identity. Whoops. I know, I keep forgetting. Property of addition. Identity property of addition. Okay. It's kind of like silly, but like once you do a few, it gets easier. The third one, 20 times y times 6 is equal to 20 times 6 times y. Commutative. I got worried that you would say associative, but since it doesn't have the parentheses, that's why it's commutative. I know it's only got two numbers, but it still works the same way. So, commutative property of multiplication. I'm going to have to kind of scoot it up just because we're getting to the bottom. And n times 1 equaling n. Identity of multiply. Okay, sorry, I was worried about the word property. Okay. Identity property of multiplication. Yes. Identity property of multiplication. Now, and I will say all classes have done this notes today, and it should be filled in completely and beautifully if they followed directions. Now, we're on the second chunk down here. This is the more weird part, okay? First, we have to determine whether the two expressions are equivalent. So is that equal to that?
Yes.
And then if so, tell the property. If not, explain what makes it wrong. That's the weird one. Okay. So like, is 64 plus 0 the same as 64?
Yes.
Yes. What property makes them the same?
No.
Which one? Identity, associative, or commutative? Commutative. Identity. And it's identity property of addition. Sit down. We don't need to be up this much. I really don't see a need. Okay, now the second one. You kind of have to stop and evaluate and see if it works. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 divided by 8
Is negative.
it's not negative, but it's a weird decimal. Yes. These are not equal. So you put no, because they're not equal. What property is it trying to be? Commutative. But what math did they use that's wrong? Division. So commutative property and this is where we could have a few different kinds of answers. I usually have been putting commutative property doesn't use division or something like that. Doesn't have division, doesn't use division. Division is not in the commutative property. Any of that would work. It's just, you just kind of have to think about it for a little bit. Okay. So the third one, 8 plus 27 plus 52, and 8 plus 27 plus 52. Good old parentheses. Is it equal?
Yes.
That is equal to that though, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And it works because of the associative of addition. Okay. Number 4, 46 plus 15 and 15 plus 46.
Yes.
Yes, because of
Identity. No.
which one can we just flip around?
Commutative.
Commutative, yes, commutative property of, addition. Until it's the end of the day. Commutative property of addition. Okay, number 5. 0 plus 32 and 0. No, they're trying to trick you here, guys. Listen, this side is 32. This side is 0. Are they equal? No, this is a not equal sign, but you would put no. And this is where some weird explanations might come in. 32 is not the same as 0? Or I think they're trying to make it the identity property, but the original number was 32. So, like any of this works. Any of what I'm kind of saying out loud. Got it? The back is the homework. Okie dokie? Okay, so I don't know. 0 is not 32. I'm just kind of anything like that. It's identity, it's not equal, anything like that. Number 6. What's up with that?
Yes.
Is that a tricker?
No, no, it has subtraction.
It has subtraction. That's the key. They're trying to do associative, but it's not going to work because you would have like 2 minus 5 would be negative 3. This side would be 9 minus 2, which would be 7. They're not equal. So no. I guess you say can't use subtraction. With associative property. Something like that. There is no subtraction, something. Now, I guess if they have it up, I didn't know if they would. On the back, here is the homework, and I am begging you to do it now. The reason is you have a 50-point test tomorrow that some of you need to study for. Listen, on the back, it is the same as the bottom of the notes. This is the actual homework. We've even, like it's right there through 12. You're doing the same thing. So, like on number 1, it says 2 times 3 times 7 and 2 times 3 times 7.
Yes.
It works, yes. Because of what property? Associative property of multiplication. Yes, you have to write it out. And you basically just go through those doing that. Tonight, I really need you to study the equivalency fraction to decimal equivalences. I'm going to show this. I know I'm still recording. I'm going to show this in hopes that maybe you can see it on the recording. I don't know. We will see. But right here, I'm just kind of show you that this is the one you're looking for. If you can hear me and see what I'm doing. It's under Miss Sawyer TSGC. You're looking for the fraction to decimal equivalences. Okay. Finish this homework now so you can study tonight. Thank you. Hopefully, if I can get it to stop. There we go.